Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. In case you hadn't noticed, Dan Azeez, Super Dan Azeez, from Lewisham in London, 33 years old. He's having quite a career. He's won, I think it's the English title, he won the Commonwealth title, he's won the Lonsdale belt outright, and he's beaten good men doing it. I think he won the vacant title against Hosea Burton, stopped him in 7. Reece Cartwright stopped him in 8, beat Shakan Pitters on points, that was a good fight. And then he ended Rocky Fielding's career. So he certainly earned his right to fight for the EBU title, and he went over to Paris and did just that. He is now the European champion. He beat THOMAS FAURE, stopped him in the 12th round, the final round. But what a courageous performance by THOMAS FAURE. I mean, it doesn't. This was a fight dominated by Azeez, but THOMAS FAURE's courage, I mean, it's absolutely immense. Azeez, an orthodox fighter. This is the light heavyweight division, but I should have mentioned that. It's the EBU light heavyweight title. 5'10", so he's not that tall really for a light heavyweight. And orthodox fighter, took on Faure, who's also orthodox. Faure came in with, I think, 21 wins, but only 2 KOs, so no power whatsoever really. 4 defeats. One of those was a stoppage, and there was a draw in there somewhere. But all of his fights were in France. I don't know much about the guy to look him up on BoxRec, which is what we all do. We go over to BoxRec when we're not sure about something. And from the word go, I thought Azeez is going to end this early, because Faure was standing bolt upright, very much a European style. Azeez, the shorter guy, wears those Marvin Hagler trunks, the burgundy, old school burgundy ones, and kind of fights a bit like Hagler, not in terms of natural talent or... Hagler was a good technician. Azeez, but Azeez has got some good individual punches, but he doesn't often fire, flurries or big combinations. But he does have that sort of Hagler-esque water on rock, eroding the opponent type. Very good pressure fighter, Azeez. Fights pretty much out of a crouch, which makes him even smaller. Another fighter that crossed my mind when I was watching him was Dwight Mohamed Kawi. Again, make yourself quite small. Faure standing bolt upright, Azeez firing big hooks over the top, landing flush on Faure's head. Azeez also has a very, very good jab. He doesn't double it up much, but single punches are very good. And he controls the range quite well. He isn't just a sort of walk-in guy. And I thought Faure was getting knocked out here. But somehow Faure was not only firing his own punches back and landing a few. He hasn't got any power, but he was landing a few punches. He was taking these full-blooded whacks, absolutely soaking them up, and it was really quite stunning to watch. But then in the 6th round, finally, there seemed to be a breakthrough for Azeez, who started to put the real heat on Faure and land some punches. And for the first time, Faure began to look ragged. I mean, he looked shaken, and he was getting battered from pillar to post, but then Azeez just momentarily took his foot off the gas, and Faure came back. He was firing his own flurries, trying to push Azeez back. Again, wasn't hurting him at all. But at the end of the 6th round, I mean, there was a massive round of applause, quite rightly so. And although Azeez had clearly won the round and done most of the effective work, but I think the applause were for Faure, who was showing absolute motivation and determination to win the fight. I mean, this was his big chance. He's in Paris. He's from France, and this was his chance to win the EBU title. He wasn't messing around. He was like, I'm going out on my shield if I'm losing. And in fact, he was trying to win right up to the end. There was in the 7th round, because I think Azeez had shaken Faure so much, Azeez was looking for one big wallop. And when he went back to the corner, he didn't get it. In fact, he lost that round. When he went back to the corner, Buddy McGirt, who's in the corner, read him the right act. He said, "You're following him around, in a sort of wave. You're not cutting him off. You need to step right to the right, far right, and then that will create some space for the right hand. But you're not doing that. You're just walking around after him." Faure was moving, but he was boxing. He was firing punches as well. He wasn't just running. And that, because Azeez neglected his jab in that round, I'm talking about the 7th still, Faure was able to outbox him. In the 8th, Azeez listened to McGirt, went back to pumping the jab. I wish he'd double up on it a bit more, but very good individual jabs. Began to control Faure a bit more, and normal service was resumed. Faure very game, firing his own punches, landing some, but all the heavy hands, those thudding cement punches were coming from Dan Azeez. And gradually over the second half of the fight, he wore down Faure to the point where in the 12th and final round, there was this enormous overhand right which landed slap bang on Faure's face. And Faure, if you remember the Alicia Baumgardner, Terry Harper fight where Baumgardner landed a big bomb and, Terry was out on her feet and the referee jumped in and stopped it, knocked out on her feet effectively. This was a very similar thing. And the referee jumped in and stopped the fight. Faure was so pissed off, you can't believe it. He was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He was, 5 minutes after the fight, he was still moaning about the stoppage. And Azeez went over to him and said, look, to sort of congratulate him and shake hands with him. And Faure he wasn't having a go at Azeez. He was just saying, I could have continued. And Azeez, absolute gentleman, said, I understand. I would be the same as you, or words to that effect. He was kind of sort of appease Faure, who was so upset at being stopped. It was the final round. He probably wanted to see out the fight. But in France, the French boxing fans have got nothing to worry about with this guy. He's a warrior. And he went out on his shield, absolutely. But Dan Azeez, what's next for him? I mean, what a fantastic career he's having. Afterwards, he was interviewed. He said he wants the world title fight now. That's the only thing that's missing from his cabinet, his trophy cabinet. And he deserves it. He deserves a shot. Light heavyweight, we all know about Beterbiev and Bivol. I don't think Dan's beating either of them, but you never know. I mean, he deserves a shot at the title. He's having a terrific career. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Dan Azeez. I like him a lot. Good fighter. And Mr. Thomas Faure, he's got himself a new fan as well, because, this is the type of performance where you think, against a slightly lesser opponent, maybe a different style, maybe someone who isn't quite so forceful, who hasn't quite put that much pressure on, who's a bit more of a standoff boxer, you do think that Faure might be able to get over the finishing line. So he could pick up the European title in the future. I mean, he's 33 now, so maybe the clock's ticking, but all credit to him. French fans can be proud of him, but well done, Dan Azeez. So what's next for Azeez? I don't think he's going to beat Beterbiev or Bivol, but what do you think? Maybe a defence of the EBU title or two? Against who, if that's the case? You tell me. Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you like the video. But if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic. That helps us out, all right? Thanks for your time, as always. And, yeah, fantastic stuff. Speak soon. Bye for now.